Hi, and welcome to the Weather and Water training video. My name is Karen Zeminski, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through both Investigation 6 and Investigation 7. Investigation 6, Water in the Air. In this investigation, students will begin to understand the particle model. They will also be able to identify properties of the particles in the different states of matter and link that understanding to the addition and the removal of heat. This is a packed part of the video, but the investigations are well written. Part one will introduce the students to condensation through the creation of their own lab. Again, this is giving them further experience also with the experimental design process. Part 2 will introduce evaporation, which I find most of my students are already familiar with. Part 3 will introduce dew point. This is where I spend most of my time since the kids tend to be least familiar with this idea, but they're all familiar with feeling the dew on the grass in the morning. And Part 4 will introduce precipitation, which they're also most familiar with. And Part 5 will demonstrate weather balloons. Overall, Investigation 6 touches on the water cycle's components separately. This is an important time to point out that FOSS-Web offers additional resources to demonstrate the particle model and phase changes. This I find to be a hugely invaluable tool in my classroom. It's part of the program that I return to all the time when I'm discussing particles with the students. You can turn on information about each of these phases. You can show what happens when you warm them up. You can show phase changes. You can see water particles, air particles, and it's a very powerful lesson for the kids to see this. I also create exit tickets such as this one and ask the kids to write or draw in whether heat is being added or removed. This was just my example. That's why it's already finished. And finally, there are 3 readings that are affiliated with this unit: observing clouds, dragon's breath, and weather balloons. Investigation 7, the water planet. This investigation has 2 parts, and the overall goal is to understand water and its movement on a more global level. The water cycle game is a chance for students to be water molecules and travel through the water cycle. I also like to point out that classroom management is crucial to the success of this activity, since the entire class is going to be up and moving around simultaneously. Assigning jobs, these were right from the teacher's guide. Assigning jobs ahead of time will also help with the management issue, but it's something to keep in mind. The teacher's guide provides you with a do now in the form of a quick write and provides additional information about the distribution of water on Earth. So sometimes if I feel like the kids need to settle down and they need a break, I'll get them all seated and I'll review the pie chart for a few minutes and get some ideas from them based on the game that they've been playing about, do they understand how most of the water is coming from the oceans? Get some of their opinions on the different things included in the chart, just to kind of give them a quick little timeout that's still focused on science. This unit is very multimedia heavy and has a number of video clips to solidify understanding of water and its movement. But the second part of this chapter is an online game that can be accessed from the control room by clicking cycles and then using the fish spinner. I actually don't have all the technology in my classroom to support this, but if you set this up on a day when you're doing stations, students can rotate through. And that is Lesson 6 and Lesson 7.